Hello, online crew. How are you? What am I going to talk about today? So I'm on a live here today to share with you just some thoughts. It's been a pretty trying time for me for the last sort of week or so. And got back from my travels last night from, attending a family member's funeral and was like, what am I going to teach tomorrow on my live? And I thought, you know what? I don't want to teach anything. I just want to talk and share, my experiences and just be a real human being with you. Is that okay? Do I have your permission to just talk and be a real human being with you today on my live? Hello, Edith. How are you? Hello, Olive. It means I've got comments, which is a really good thing. Facebook's been nice to me lately with comments. Hello, Sean. How are you? Great to see you on. So, normally I would be, hey, Sal, normally I'd be on, teaching you something about a social media strategy, something that I always really want to give you good value. Hey, Rob, permission granted. Thank you, Sean. And, I'm not complaining, I'm not whinging or anything like that, but seriously, life is just life sometimes, isn't it? And life is not always smooth. It really does come down to sort of how we handle sort of things when times get a little bit tough and when we get challenged and when we get unwell, and all of that's happened to me in the last week or so. So I just wanted to share my thoughts in how I've got through it, how I get through it. And, at the end of the day, I'm a human being. I've been sick. We've had loss and grief in the family in the last week. I've been taken for granted, which has been really hurtful and disappointing. I've had great time with family. Like, it's been a real roller coaster. And I think particularly in the social media world, the entrepreneurial world and whatever, these things come and hit us at, all the time, all the time. And, my life is not perfect, far from it. And things like this, hey, Suzanne, how are you? Things like this happen to, to us all the sort of time. So I just want to share with you my thoughts about what's happened with me, and how they handle that and the lessons that I've learned, because I truly believe whether we like it or whether we don't, things do happen for a reason. I also like to look at things that happen sort of in my life regarding, I often say to myself, what am I learning from this? What is this teaching me? So instead of playing the victim and, crawling in a hole and hiding in my own little space because I don't feel well or I'm upset or whatever, I often challenge my thinking and think, what am I learning from this? What am I being challenged about? Or how am I handling this? So I'm often questioning how we handle these challenges in life. And I would encourage you to do the same, because it can help you make better decisions when things get really tough. And it can help you it can guide you in a smoother path moving forward. Does this make sense to you guys at all? I don't know if you guys believe that. I mean, let me know what you think about that thought, everything happens for a reason. We don't always have to understand what's going on, and bad things may happen, but I do truly believe things happen for a reason. Hey, Andrew, I truly believe people come across our path for a reason. I truly believe people pop up on Facebook for a reason that you connect with, or you bump into somebody, or you have a conversation that leads to something else that leads to something else. It may not always make sense, but I'm a true believer in that. Rob, and sometimes we don't understand it, but I truly believe every, things sort of happen like that. Hey, Crystal, how are you? And the people that you meet can lead you to conversations, which can lead you to beautiful things and growth and all the rest of it. It doesn't always make sense to us. And any of you guys that have been here with me, just particularly the last couple of weeks, yes, Olive, we've always got something to learn. And that's what I often ask myself, what am I learning here? And, when people take me for granted or, abuse my good nature in some ways. It's like, what am I learning from this? What do I need to perhaps pull back on? Or how, maybe how can I do things differently to make sure, that doesn't happen, in the future, things like that. So it's been a massive roller coaster. With the things that have happened in the last little week or so, I could very much be, hey Cheryl, I could be very much feeling sorry for myself. I mean, obviously I'm physically feeling better now. Hopefully you can hear that. Lesson learned there. I hate to say my husband's right. He says this to me all the time. And some of you guys have reached out to me and said this as well, is that, when we get sick, your body is telling you that, you need to slow down, you need to rest, you need to look after yourself. And I know that on the outside, but, harder to execute sometimes when you've got 10 different things coming from you at all different directions. But it's so true, when you don't rest, you just don't get better. So I could have been better a lot quicker if I just allowed my body, my time, my mind, the space. So there's one lesson learnt. My husband's right. He's one of those guys. Sorry to pick on you guys, but do you get the man flu? Like, serious. Do some of you know what I mean by the word man flu? And when guys get sick, it's like, I've got to rest on the couch and I can't do anything and the world stops because they've got man flu, and just, Paul does nothing for like a day or two, and he rugs up in his, thank you Sean, rugs up in his, tracksuit pants and his jumper and like 10 layers, goes to bed, sweats it out, and like for 24 hours, and then he's okay the next day. Who just go, hey Julie, how are you? Go. All the sniffly, snuffy, sneezy, all the rest of it, go. And you just don't get better. I know, Crystal, and I really appreciate that. So, yeah, there's lesson number one. When you get sick, you really do need to stop. Easier said than done when you've got deadlines and stuff like that. But that is a lesson, that I learnt. The other thing regarding, you all know the man flu. No, you don't get the man flu, Rob. You just carry on. Well, that's good to know. Totally. You understand the man flu. It's, I hate it when he proves me right, though. Like, he just stops and does nothing and the world's over. I can't even lift a finger to do anything, but he bounces back so much quicker, quicker for it. We're always right. We just let you win. Is that what it is, Sal? So, yeah, you got to let the women win, Sal. That's just the way it goes. Your hubby definitely not one to complain. That's cool. So, some of the other things that I've, experienced in that is how cool some of you guys are. Look what I got. Rob and Sean sent me a birthday card from the UK. I got it last night, guys. So I guess it didn't take too long to get here, but some of you guys out there and how much you care and do little things like this, like we really do have, some cool card, by the way, some beautiful people here. And, that teaches me a lot in the people that care and the people that don't care when you go through tough times, when you get sick, when you have a loss or a grief in the family, who really is there for you and does genuinely care about you and who doesn't. I don't know if you guys have ever sort of come across that when times really get tough, like who really does reach out to you and who doesn't. That's sort of another lesson that I've learnt. It does take a while. Mind you, Rob, although we're not that far out of the main sort of we overlook the town that I live in. You can see that from my view, those guys that know my view. But the postie doesn't come up the road. The postie doesn't come up the hill. So we have to go to the post box to get our mail, Rob. So it's quite, because we had to fly interstate to the funeral, it's quite possible it arrived maybe last Friday or a couple of days ago, Rob, because we obviously didn't check the letterbox because we're away. So thank you very much for that, guys. I really appreciate that. The other thing that I've certainly learned in this time is those of you that, yes, you do know who the true ones are. And yes, I believe Crystal has something on the way for me for my birthday, which is, I'll be very happy to receive that, Crystal, when it arrives. Is the whole entrepreneurial journey thing, the whole, trials and tribulations, the good, the bad, the ugly, and all the rest of it, is a couple of things that I've learned regarding that is, guys, if you're building a business on social media, the one thing that I'm learning sort of the hard way is they're just, especially with time zones all around the world, is that there is, hey Jody, how are you? There is no off switch when you deal with time zones all around the world, worldwide, people that you connect with. And that is a beautiful thing in many respects. And it's also can be damaging or just exhausting when you never switch off. Does that make sense to you guys? So you guys that, are building online and messages and time zones and stuff like that, we still somehow have to set boundaries because it never stops. And the busier you get, the more people that you connect with around the world, the more things that you do, that if you've got a team like I do as well, and that grows, it just never, ever, ever stops. People's expectations of that need to be managed because people that's what social media is all about. It's instant and it's instantaneous, and that's a beautiful thing. But also the expectation of that is people feel let down when you may not have even seen their message yet. People might feel frustrated and they're sending a second message after the first message, and you haven't even been able to see their first message yet because of time zone or, being, doing other things or whatever. So for those of you that are building a business online and you're following some kind of entrepreneurial business in some way, please set yourself boundaries. I'm learning the hard way around that. And none of this is about complaining. I'm not saying that. It's just about preserving your own self-worth and your own health and things like that. Not doing that at the expense of, if you don't look after yourself, then what do you have? And if you end up, sick like I was and you just never recover, then how good are you to anybody? Does that make sense? So it's one of the hardest things to do to prioritize yourself. It's one of the hardest things to do to prioritize your own work. But another lesson I learned, this was amazing to me, airplanes, no social media. The Wi-Fi is off, unless you want to use the airplane Wi-Fi and watch a movie and stuff like that. But I use the time to plan. Do you know, in the short trips that I had and going interstate to my auntie's funeral and back again, I have planned out my calendar for the whole rest of the year. I've planned out all my branding course dates, all the video challenges. Yes, there's going to be more than one. I know exactly what I'm doing for the rest of the year. And I was able to achieve that by just going through my calendar, going through what I needed to what I need to achieve by the end of the year, and mapping it out for every single month between now and December. So by the time I got back into the city that I live, I've got everything mapped out for the rest of the year. How did I manage that? No distraction. And you wouldn't think that's hard. Like, why couldn't I just set an hour aside, 2 hours, however many hours aside in my own world, and just like, right, I've got a plan for the rest of the year? It's because there's no boundaries with anything else. Everybody's messaging you, kids, husband, messages, team members, courses, live videos, branding course, coaching community. And don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, but sometimes 1 hour or a couple of hours of dedicated time blocking everything out. It's taught me a lesson. Maybe I'm not that good at blocking things out, or that quality time of planning and stuff like that. So my airplane time has mapped out the whole rest of the year. And do you know how good that feels, guys? Like every month, it's like, okay, when am I going to do the next dates for the next branding course? When am I going to do the next video challenge? When am I going to do this and that and whatever? Where am I going to slot that in? I've got school holidays there, going to Vegas there, got a blah, blah, blah. So when you've got a calendar in front of you, you've got the school holidays, if that's relevant to you, when I'm going away, all those kind of things. Right now, we'll have to shift that because there's, you're going away then, so that, no, I can't do that and whatever. And just sitting with it for, a few hours, the whole rest of the year is planned out for me. So big lesson with distractions and what I'm saying about, being the entrepreneur and having your own business and working from home as well. And, Facebook and Messenger and stuff like that. Turn the bloody phone off. It shouldn't take me to get on an aeroplane to have mapped out the rest of my year. But honestly, between getting sick and dealing with family and my dad not being that well and traveling interstate, we had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go, catch our flight and all the rest. Like, it's just life. Does life get like that for you guys? It certainly has been for me. But what we've got to look at is boundaries, distractions, letting people know that you're always there for them, but it may not be an instantaneous response. Looking after myself, my health. If I fall to pieces, what good am I to you guys? How much more can I teach you if I fall to pieces? So I'm sure you guys don't want me to fall to pieces, and I don't want to fall to pieces. So I have to somehow change priorities and stuff like that to make sure I'm, sort of looking after myself. Can you guys to relate to anything I'm saying here? Because I'm just sort of talking and sharing with you what's been going on for me. Because this entrepreneurial journey, working from home, creating things, creating courses, building, network marketing business, which is on fire at the moment, all of that, and, my consulting accounting work, teaching at the gym, like I really do too many things, I think. Do you agree? So, there's all lessons in that for me. Hopefully you will block out some time again. And I do time block already, and I don't know why that was different. I really don't, because I do time block now. I teach time blocking to students. But it was just amazing to know that the rest of the year is all planned out as far as my dates go. Leanne, hello, how are you? I've been doing that with self-care, switch off social media. Yeah. I need to manage my distractions for real. It's crazy. The phone in particularly, our phones. There was a life when we didn't have them. We did cope without mobile phones, and I get really frustrated with kids these days. Like, you take their technology away from them, and that's all like tears and frustration and all the rest of it. It's like, what happened to the old days where kids didn't even think about technology? I'm trying to hold off as long as I possibly can for our boys to get their own devices. At the moment, they've got, and don't laugh at me, but I've got 4 iPads. 2 of them I don't use. One of them belongs to me, and one of them belongs to somebody I do consulting work for. So don't judge. Please don't judge. But so the boys use mine, and they use our old phones, Paul and I, old phones, just to play games and stuff like that. But I haven't got SIM cards in it. But all their friends do. All their friends do. So it's getting harder and harder to say no when everyone else around them, has them. Rob, life has definitely thrown me some challenges. So really what I'm getting to here is life throws all of us, you, me, involved, everybody, challenges. So there's a few things that we need to sort of take stock of. Is one, what is this teaching me? When things go to crap, what is this teaching me? And that's what I've done, like on the airplane and stuff like that. Like, what lessons am I learning from here? So the other side of this is in a couple of my communities, there's people in my communities that are abusing my goodwill, abusing my training resources, and trying to infiltrate in my community for their own self-gain. And initially, I get back last night from the airport straight onto, sorry, it's pissing down with rain. Straight onto coaching calls. Like, I'm on as soon as we got home, and I find this stuff out, and it's like, are you kidding me? Like, I try so hard and all I do is give value to people for next to nothing. And people are doing that in my communities. Like, it was devastating, but it's absolutely, Rob, it's how you deal with it. So I can cry and get all frustrated, and yeah, am I disappointed? Of course I am. but I can't let it stop me do good for all the beautiful people that I have in front of me right now. Does that make sense? So it's not something that I can let hold me back or go, this is ridiculous. I'm not doing this for people to abuse my good nature. I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, I can't throw my hands up in the air and take that kind of attitude. Everything you do is up to you how you handle it. Have I done really well in the last couple of weeks? Not really. I should have rested when I needed it, when I was sick. The grief, I've done the best I can. The funeral was, let's just say I cried a lot. It was just so beautiful, but in a beautiful way. Like, tears aren't always, woe is me, I'm feeling awful. Tears is like, this is a pure celebration of somebody's beautiful life and all the things that she achieved. So tears aren't always a bad thing. We always need to let out our emotions. So yeah, there's lots of things, you know, even things like airports. It's just, it's something that follows me around. I'm not sure why. Hey, Alita, how are you? Great to see you on. Delays in airports. So on our flight out, we got, no, tears aren't always bad. That's right, Sean. We had to get up at 4, leave at 5, get to the city, the nearest city, to get our flight. And we got delayed for an hour. So the extra hour's sleep would have been wonderful, but it is what it is. When we came back yesterday, we sat on the tarmac for, it was actually close to 45 minutes. So we got, can you guys hear that? It is absolutely pissing down with rain. I don't know if you can hear that. So we got on the plane, boarded a little bit late, but then sat on the tarmac. As the pilot put it, it was, what did he say? Peak hour in the air at the time that we were flying back. So, you know, and people were getting pissed off and they were gonna, you know, all the rest of it. It's how you handle it. Can you change a flight being delayed? Is there anything you can do about that? Hey, Michael, how are you? I love that sound too. Paul said to me this morning, because a lot of you guys are warming up, and we're going to be moving into our winter shortly. So you're going to see me in scarves while you guys get all your tank tops out and your t-shirts. I'm going to be rugging up. And Paul said to me this morning, do you want me to put the fire on? It's like, oh, it's okay. It doesn't look that bad. And it's been freezing and bucketing down with rain ever since. You know, yeah, just plane delays and stuff like that. And they're people's attitude. And they get pissed off, and they're complaining, and they're ranting and raving to the air stewardess and stuff like that. And it's like, can you do anything about an airplane being delayed? So, you know, another lesson there is, don't stress about the things you can't control. Do you know how many people... Hello, Judy and Bob. Oh, now, this is another downfall of what's happened in the last few days. Judy and Bob are like, what, 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes away from me at the moment. So they are holidaying in the area that I live. And, you know, the challenge of being away a couple of days to attend a funeral interstate is that I've had to jam 2 days worth of coaching calls. Like, I just had to move them all. So from early this morning to late tonight and the next 2 days. So while they're here, you're here, Judy and Bob, but I was going to try and catch up with them while they were here, but I'm just flat chat. So special hello to Judy and Bob. I'm sorry it's raining, guys, and you can't get to walk on the beach today. It's just been pouring with rain where I am here. So is it pouring with rain where you are on the balcony, on the holiday home I think you're in? Hello, Mary, how are you? But just, you know, things like, getting back to what I was talking about, not being able to control things like planes being delayed and stuff like that, people's attitude. And this is, you know, all these things that I'm talking about, even the entrepreneurial journey and no boundaries and, you know, stuff like that. It's up to me how I control all of that. It's up to me how I put boundaries up. It's up to me how I, you know, deal with plane delays, which don't bother me, but there was a hell of a lot of people around me that were just so, it just wasn't necessary. You know, their attitude was just so unnecessary. But the patience of things like that, Hey Anna, good to see you on. Oh, we desperately need the rain, Olive. It's absolutely like, bring it on, bring it on. I love hearing the rain. I love putting the fire on. So I was just saying before, Paul said, do you want to put the fire on? I said, no, it'd be right. And I'll put it on later. Yes, Cheryl, people are so angry these days. And I'm on live here today, not to teach you anything about social media, but just to sort of say life throws us crap. Often. We get sick, we're human. I'm tired, I'm exhausted, although I did get a good night's sleep last night, so I wasn't exhausted as I was when I got back last night and then straight into coaching calls. So I'm feeling a little bit better today. But everything that gets thrown at you, at me, whatever, especially if you're building a business on social media and it's at you all the time, 24/7, the only person that can control your journey in social media, the only person that can control your thoughts, your minds, your emotion, your life, your future, your successes, your failures, is you, and in my case, me. And the last couple of weeks has been tough for me, but you don't see me wallowing in it or playing the victim or whatever. I'm always asking myself, what is this teaching me? Am I really pissed off that people are abusing? Small minority, I need to say that. Small minority of people are abusing the communities that I've built up. Yes, of course I am. I'm pissed off. But, you delete them, you block them, and you move on. That's just all part of the entrepreneurial journey as well. People, not everyone's nice. And I said to somebody in a message this morning, there's always going to be bad eggs out there. It's just life. I can't let it get me down. I'm not going to let it stop me showing up for you guys. It just is what it is. It's just always asking and believing things happen for a reason, good, bad, or ugly, especially in the entrepreneurial world. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah, Rob, it is what it is. So no use crying over spilt milk. Have I had a lot of tears over the passing of my auntie? Yeah, but that's okay, and I'm completely okay with that. One of my cousins said to me, you're such an emotional person, Helen. And I'm actually not really in everyday life, but when it comes to family and friends and things that are really important to me, I do get emotional because it just means so much to me, and family means everything to me, and it really does make you stop and smell the roses and go, what's important? And if you're lucky enough to have close family and close aunties and uncles and cousins like I do, we just have the most beautiful family. And it was just really a beautiful time that I spent with them around the funeral and afterwards, that the phone was in my bag and I didn't answer it for hours. And it was actually refreshing just to spend quality time crying, reminiscing, being with my beautiful family that I absolutely love and adore, and that's what's important. So sometimes we need to put things in perspective on what we stress over. So as I said before, am I disappointed when people abuse my communities and stuff like that? Of course I am, but I can't stop it. It is what it is. People are going to do what they want to do. I just have to deal with it the best way I can. And, we move forward. It's just part of the entrepreneurial journey when you put yourself out there on social media, I guess, and you build up a community of, sorry guys, I just had some fluff there. You probably didn't see that. I'm just going, thank you, Cheryl. Thank you for your lovely comment. So I'm just here to tell you I'm human. I'm not perfect. It's been a tough couple of weeks. I really, really appreciate, little gestures like that from people that I've only met in the online world. That being an entrepreneur, social media, all that kind of stuff, it affords us so many beautiful opportunities, beautiful relationships that we meet and we connect with, and people that genuinely actually care. And I've felt that and learnt that from a lot of you, just recently with what's been going on with me. So I'm here to say thank you to all you guys that have reached out and send me messages. I will bounce back big time tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. I'm going to be on live with, or in half an hour with all the guys in my branding course. We've got our next live call and that's going to be awesome. Life moves on, but it's up to me and up to you how we deal with things, frustrating things, because that's just life. Life is not, what does Forrest Gump say? Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Hey Barbara, good to see you jump on. And that is so true, isn't it? We don't know what's going to happen the next day. And I guess when you get faced with something like a family member passing away, it does also help you reassess what's important, who's important, and you know, how do I change that moving forward? Because the only person that can affect change in your life is you. And yes, Judy and Bob, I really am human. And that's what, like last night, I'm thinking, because I put so much pressure on myself to give you guys good value and research stuff about what's going on in social media and what's changing and what to watch out for. And if there is a change, like the engagement baiting, what examples can I give you to get around that? And I'm so, you know, I just always want to give you value. And last night, so we got back from the airport straight into coaching calls, and I was absolutely exhausted. And I'm like, for the first time, I can't think of something. I can't research something to tell you guys. So I'm just going to talk to you. So I hope you appreciate me just talking to you and sharing with you my thoughts and my experiences. And I think it's just really important that we take control. Judy Bob, he also says sometimes there aren't, you know, enough rocks. No, that's true. And it's okay. Like I said, the title of my video is, you know, I'm, what did I say? I'm human, I'm exhausted, and I'm completely okay with that. And I don't have any problems coming in here and say, guys, I'm human, I feel like crap, I need some more sleep, and shitty things have happened in the last few days, and that's life. I'm not going to sit here in my social media journey and say life is perfect, because if anyone says life is perfect, they are lying to you. But that's completely okay. It's just me assessing for myself, what is this teaching me? So when Paul's in my ear going, rest, rest, you're not going to get better unless you rest. It's just like I hear it, but it just sort of doesn't sink in. But, you know, I think that's important as well for you guys to know that, you know, maybe look up to me and think that I'm superwoman. I ain't. I'm just human like you, but it's really important for me and you that when and isn't it amazing how sometimes things spiral a little bit? Something goes wrong and then something like you get sick and then somebody passes away and then you got to move like 2 days worth of coaching calls over there and then, oh, la, la, la. You know, things do tend to spiral, but it doesn't have to get you really down or take over your life if you're in the right mindset. So, you know, it's really, really important. So I know we need to move on through these situations, but it's bloody hard. It is, but we can either choose to let it be bloody hard, or we can choose to move through it and like, what's this teaching me? What do I need? What's the lesson I need to learn here? And assess it. So it's evaluating. It's evaluating everything around you that's going on and not indulging in it, actually seeing it for what it is. What am I learning here? What do I need to do differently? Or, you know, I'm not sure why that happened, and that sucks, but I can't let it define me. I need to look at this in a new perspective. What's that new perspective and things like that. So, I know, Sal, it is very, very hard sometimes. But when we tell ourselves it's hard, guess what? It continues to be hard. So, you know, I'm just here to say, yeah, I've had some challenges in the last couple of weeks. Has it been tough? Yes, it has. But I will bounce back in full force in the next few days. You get more sleep, you know, all that kind of stuff, catch up a little bit and, you know, deal with idiot people and just move on and whatever, and it's all okay. Cheryl, we're all tired, but some people, you know, are worth the time. Yeah, correct. It makes you appreciate the little things. Yeah, and not stress. It's not, yeah, appreciate the little things and also don't stress on the little things. You know, we worry about things we don't really need to worry about sometimes. Like they're not really big things in the scheme of things. And when you put things in perspective that one day you're here and one day you might not be, you put that in perspective, like what's really important here? What do I really need to concentrate on? What do I need to do to help me before I can help them? You know, those kind of things. So I know this live was all over the place. That's okay. I'm human. I'm not perfect. I said that before. A few little lessons in there, from time blocking to the way you think, anything to whatever. So take from it what you will. I just want to thank you for being here and having a little chat with me today. Yes, Sean, shit happens. Build a bridge and get over it rather than dwindle it. It does nobody any good when we just continue to dwindle, you know, in our own stuff. And it's okay to fall apart every now and again. It's okay to be really tired. It's okay to be exhausted. You know, I said that in my title. I am exhausted. There's been a lot going on, and I'm okay with that because I'm human. So we don't need to beat ourselves up for that, or me try to get on a video here today to teach you something amazing when I'm not up to it. I'll be up to it tomorrow. I'm about to have a killer call with the people in my branding course. Like, I'm on it, I'm ready. But, you know, life just throws us stuff sometimes, and that's completely okay. Allow yourself to be human, but don't allow yourself to be consumed in whatever it is that's going on. Make sense? Judy, worry is a useless emotion according to Dr. Wayne Dwyer. Yeah, Wayne Dwyer's awesome. And yes, I agree. Worrying causes a lot of stress, which causes sometimes illnesses, and that can lead to, you know, all sorts of, you know, ongoing health, you know, issues. So without sounding too mushy, we are blessed to have you in our corner. That's not sounding mushy, Sal, and I appreciate your comment. You know, I'm here to be real with you. As much as I'm here to be a social media coach and a mentor to you guys, I'm also here to be really real with you. And being an entrepreneur and doing everything from home, you know, it has its challenges. And that's okay. We just got to move through those challenges with the right mindset. Thank you, Helen, for being a beautiful person. We love you. Thank you, Crystal. Mwah, bless you all. Thank you for sharing and being your authentic self. Yeah, you know, and it's scary to do that, Andrew, because I'm like, well, I can't do that. Like, I'm not teaching them anything. And it's like, well, you know what? I just can't teach you anything today. It's not in me. Maybe I have taught you something indirectly, but yeah, for what it is, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me just be real with you guys, and I'll be back firing on all cylinders before you know it. And for those of you in my branding course, I will see you in just under half an hour, okay? So I'll see you same bat time, same bat channel tomorrow. Love you guys. Thank you very much for all your support, kind words, love, cards, everything recently. You guys are amazing. So from me to you, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.